Bum ba da 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 ba da 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 dun da da dun 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 bum ba da da dum bum 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 ba da dum bum 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 ba da dum. All right, welcome back to Paint All the Things right here in the Pocket Dimension with me, your host, JP Got Rockets. Good to see you. Hey, Myar. Nice to see you're in the chat as usual. Your support is always noted. Thanks for being here. Glad to see your usual self here. Hope everything is going well for you today. It rained crazy today, and I worked out in it. Of course, it's Tuesday, so it must be a build a service for somebody day. So I was building an electrical service and working in a trench and talk about trench crusade, right? Well, we were having ourselves a trench crusade, that's for sure. I don't think that game is quite my cup of tea, but I know a lot of people like it. Grim, dark, and muddy, and dirty and grim, and dirty and muddy and grim. Well, I had plenty of dirty and muddy and grim today. Yeah, it was a muddy mess. It was a muddy mess. So here we are in the Pocket Dimension, and of course, we do have the fundraiser still going on Twitch for the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. I'm sorry, YouTube, you don't like that word. That's okay. I'm not monetized. It doesn't matter. You can't do anything to me. So, we'll talk about the things that are important to us because we are on other platforms that aren't quite so censorious. All right. So here we go. We're going to be painting up some gnolls. Gnolly things, all the gnolly things. Gnoll what? Gnoll this. You know nothing, Jon Snow. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and start slinging some paint on this little unit, this little subunit of gnolls here. Yes, it is Gnoll-Vember. Thank you for celebrating Gnoll-Vember with me now. As a reminder, for those of you who are watching on YouTube and Rumble, if you pop over to Twitch to my landing page, there is a little purple button that says Donate to Charity. We are trying to raise $250 for the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. So far, we've raised $91 out of $250, so thank you so much to everybody who has contributed to the offering there. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for hanging out and taking time out to fill out the form and throw in a buck or two. Every little bit helps. Several have put in a little bit more. Some have put in 5, some have put in 1 or 2, some have put in 25. So you can give what you want. You don't have to give to be able to watch the program, but it is there. It's there because I feel it's an important thing. And this is Gnoll-Vember, which is incidentally Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. So take a minute, look around at the men in your family, and realize that everybody is fighting a secret battle. You don't know what everybody is going through. Be kind. Be kind. Let's see. So, let's see. What else? What else? Oh, of course, this Thursday is Thanksgiving. You heard me right. I did not stutter. I said Thanksgiving. And as usual, I will be painting a tank. I won't be painting this tank. I'll be building this tank. I may paint. It just depends. It may be a shorter overall long stream than usual. I've usually done 12 hours. I may just do an 8 hour. I don't know. But it'll start around 9 in the morning. And we will be building move these little dudes here. We'll be building the Churchill tank. So we'll be building this Churchill tank from Warlord Games. Warlord Games, I just heard, is going to open their first retail store. So that's kind of interesting. I thought about that one, didn't I? Yes, I thought about that one a whole 5 seconds. Dark warm gray, dark neutral gray. Let's go with dark warm gray. Because we're going to go with dark warm gray and warm gray. I'm sure I've got a light warm gray. I don't have it, though. I'm sure there's one. Well, Miar, I mean, I've been doing Thanksgiving for the last 3 years now. I think this is my 3rd year of Thanksgiving. So, let's see, this is the 3rd year of streaming for me, I think. And so January will start my 4th year of streaming. So, yes, really? 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 Really, really? Really, really? I don't know. Really what? Yes, so we're going to get some dark warm gray here, put it on the palette. A few little drops here, 3, 4 drops. And we're going to go ahead and do their skin tone, flesh tone, whatever tone you want to call it. I'm going to go with gray, as per some of the illustrations that I saw for Gnolls were often gray in tone. So, and I may paint some more on these Gnolls on Thursday as well. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. If I've still got time after building the tank. So got a $15 gift certificate from Games Workshop because they said you haven't ordered anything all year. Please buy something, they said. We'll give you $15 off. So I will probably be using that. There is a front plate that I'd like to get for one of my Horus Heresy dreadnoughts. So gonna go with Ultramarines for my Horus Heresy forces. I was thinking about Space Wolves, but I'm working on a 40k Space Wolves. Plus, of course, I've got the Nova Wolves in the Primaris stuff because somehow, even though I tried to avoid Primaris Marines, somehow I wound up getting some somehow. So I'm building a force that way. Of course, I'm not working on it right now because I'm working on Gnoll-Vember Gnolls. Let's see, that's not fur. Where is that fur? That's fur, and that's armor. So we're going to see how fast we can paint these guys up. Miar donated $25 to support the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Awesome. That's terrific. We are now up to $116 out of $250. Miar coming through in the clutch. Nice. Appreciate that, Miar. Appreciate that very much. Doing some heavy lifting out there tonight, Myar. Terrific. So if you're out there and you saw that, just follow in Myar's footsteps. $1, $5, $10, whatever you can spare. This is a season which can be a little taxing on people's mental well-being, quite honestly, moving into the holiday seasons. And far from being a joyful time for some people, it can really lead to a lot of depressive thoughts, anxieties, people feeling required to do things, they feel overwhelmed. The 988 Crisis and Suicide Lifeline is a place where somebody can call up and talk to somebody. No judgments. So call them up or recommend them to somebody. They really do try their best to help people. They are about helping everybody. They have got a prompt for veterans as well, so there's that. And I'm sure that they are interested in taking care of anyone with unique situations. Helping people with unique situations. So, don't feel that you have to be on the very edge of doing something that you can't undo in order to make use of them. In fact, I think they'd rather you not be on the edge of doing something you can't undo to utilize them. But I thought it was interesting when I went to renew my registration on my car title, my registration on my car, that the envelope that my reminder came in from the state of Ohio had a 988 Ohio logo on it on the back. So there's that. Helping people can help yourself. Yes, very true, Myar. Helping other people can definitely help yourself because you're not focused on yourself and your problems. You're focused on their problems. And you know the thing is if you're going through something, you may have found something that helps you cope that can help somebody else cope. Because sometimes that's all we can do is cope. Find a way to get through, move on, and not let things dominate our lives. You know, we have a rear view mirror in a vehicle for good reason. It's so that we can look back every now and then and see what's behind us. But what happens if we focus, if we're trying to drive, what happens if we focus only on the rear view mirror? Well, we're going to drive ourselves into a destructive place, right? We're going to have a wreck. Same thing. Sometimes we have to figure out a way to put past tragic events behind us, find a way to accept that those things happened, and move on. Whether it's personal failing, some kind of trauma from a bad act that somebody did to us, or maybe we don't feel like we're living up to our family's expectations, or this or that, whatever the situation might be. if we're only interested in what's behind, we can never see what's coming up. And there are a lot of good things in life coming up. You don't know. You just don't know. So give yourselves a chance, folks. Give yourselves a chance. All right. So I thought about painting these guys ochre, as it's not a bad color for them. It's not a bad color, even naturally speaking. It's not a bad color for them in the realm of nature. But I saw a lot of illustrations have these dudes painted kind of gray, grayish yellow. Well, I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull off grayish yellow or not, but they are undercoated in that Dunkelgelb, that dark yellow, that ochre sort of a yellow, and that's not bad. Not bad at all. So, anyhow, Miar has put us over the $100 mark, so we are practically halfway to our goal here. 116 out of 250. So that's great. So thank you very much, Miar. Thanks for that. Stepping up and being tonight's hero. Tonight's hobby hero. All right. Ochre is a good Gnoll look. Yes, I thought so too. And I was gonna do their mains in blue, but then I thought, I've been thinking about doing bugbears in ochre with blue mains as well, and I didn't want to have two groups of similarly hairy beasties. I didn't want to have them the same. So I had to make an executive decision, so to speak, there, Miar. Of course, these are just going to be tabletop quality at best. So I'm not too worried about overly thinning my paints. I mean, they are thin enough to work with for sure. For sure. And, but these are soft plastic, and sometimes their detail isn't real great anyway, so I'm not getting too executive decisions are always a tough one. Yeah. Yeah, it was something that I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it. So it was just I didn't know, sometimes, I don't know if you're like this, but sometimes you don't know what direction you want to take a project until you get started with it, or you think that you want to go a certain way, and then you start getting there, and you find out that the way you wanted to go is not the direction you wanted to take it. So you kind of have to say, well, what else do I want to do? What else can I do? So looking at those pictures, and I was like, you know what? Let me Let me do these up. Let me do these dudes up in gray fur, and yeah. So maybe they're more of a northern climate gnoll instead of a southern climate gnoll. Being as they are from a hyena stock, you'd think they'd probably be in whatever game world that you are, whatever your headcanon for your game world is going to be. If you're playing a game of Song of Blades and Heroes, which this is for a Song of Blades and Heroes, or really any other game that would allow me to have a group, a small skirmish group of dudes. That are miniatures agnostic. The rules shouldn't care about what figures you use. But people have gotten so tied into, well, if I'm playing this game, I must have these models exactly from this company, and I can only play this game with these models that this company makes. Of course, on the other hand, with the advent of 3D printing, that's becoming less and less of a concern for many people. They find something that works for them, close enough, something that is in that ecosphere. Space, a big spaceman with big space armor is kind of a big spaceman with big space armor, right? So somebody might make up their version of what they think that a big spaceman in big space armor should look like. So and then they get sued for it because they say, because the big greedy wank shop in Nottingham says, but you can use your miniatures to play with our games. That is unfair competition. Well, I could use bottle caps to play their game. I mean, yeah. It's not like you really have to have their toys, especially for fantasy stuff. You know, you could actually walk these guys. You could maybe give these guys. You could probably give these guys Stormcast. I think base wise they're about the same size as Stormcast. So you could probably, if you really wanted to throw somebody into a tizzy, you could probably run these guys as a Stormcast army in what is that? Age of Sigmar, I think is what it's called. It's true, I was watching a buddy play Warhammer Quest online and he was using some enemies made of paper printouts. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Alright, let's go ahead and do these dudes' body colors up here. Start out back here by his tail. He's got some foot wraps on, it looks like, but we'll just go right over him. That's the great thing about paint. If you are not afraid and just go ahead and paint. Get it up and running here. Yeah. You can paint right over things. If you're not putting your paint on too thick, you can paint right over your mistakes. Just like I've got a mistake here because he's got some foot coverings on there, but I'm not going to worry too much about it. And of course, since I'm only going for tabletop play level here, I'm not going to get too. And again, these are soft plastic figures. They're very difficult to clean up. So I'm not going to get too righteous about mold lines. I used to attack mold lions with a vengeful ferocity. Nowadays, depending on the material and depending on the purpose of the what I'm doing, I may just ignore it. Like on these guys, they're soft plastic. It's hard to clean up. We'll just go with it. Not gonna worry too much for it. So. Not going to get overly excited. But I put in 100 feet, nearly 100 feet of 2-inch pipe in the trench today there, Myar. And then we pulled the wire into it. And then it was getting dark and it was time to go home, so I did. And we'll finish that project up tomorrow. I told the folks it was going to take about 2 days to do, and that's pretty well how it is. We just couldn't do much to speed things up, I'm wondering is there's a lot of real estate on these guys. I wonder if I could do some like war paint or something. I don't know. You coming by and helping me cut my driveway up and replace my sewer? Uh, well, you live kind of far away from me to make it a weekend trip. Honestly, the way my car has been acting up over the last few weeks, I am not too prone to go too far. I'm not prone to travel too far from home of late. If I lived closer, Myar, I absolutely would come and help. Absolutely. 100%, man. Absolutely. So how did you do, hey Myar? So how did you do with that competition piece? Did they judge? Did they finish judging yet for those for the Modifius? I mean, every like the stuff I saw all looked pretty good, and yours was considerably outstanding, quite honestly. I mean, you're probably in the top 5 at least from what I could tell. I mean, in my opinion. I mean, could just be buttering you up, but I don't think so. Still no word? You was just looking at the thing. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, for the amount of participants, there's about 3 or 4, and including yours, that are just really top notch. Then the Space Marine that you posted up in the Discord was nice looking too. I really like what you were doing there with that. Little OSL, some good blending, light and shadow play, some nice fades on the armor blending. I mean, blending and fades. Just top notch. Probably never know if anyone wins. Yeah, I never. Well, they should. They usually announce that on that site, though, don't they? Or no? I know the past winners have been mentioned. If you look on the site, it looks like they have mentioned the past winners by the because there was the what was it, the Elder Scrolls Call to Arms, I think it was, or something like that. I think they had another thing in that IP there. So I took the rest of the photos. I took the rest of the photos of the rest of the Marines. Yes, awesome. Yeah, your photography game is pretty decent there, Myar. I just kind of lately I just kind of been kind of kind of snapshotting stuff with my tablet, and I just like haven't really gone into a lot of. I've been very low effort with some of my hobby stuff lately and promotion type stuff. I'm trying to get better with it. I didn't know. I keep looking around and I am a noob. You're far from a noob there, Myar. Far from it. Or are you just talking about? Or are you talking about navigating that website? Takes 2 lights, and that's it. Noob and navigation. Oh, okay. Yeah, because when I was looking for that contest um, the other night on stream there, it showed a bunch of other stuff. It showed other contests, other previous contests, little thumbnails. But then I think all I did is I just Googled it. But you probably know more specific terms, which will give you more specific results. And sometimes when you're looking for general results instead of specific results, it will give you specific results instead of the general stuff. Very strange, this internet thing, you know. Do I have Android? Yeah, my tablet and my phone are both Android. They both run Android. And my computer sounds like a sick Android right now because the fan I think needs to be replaced or repaired or something. But I'm probably due for a new computer anyway. Although I hear that they're having a lot of issues with Windows 11, so haha. The longer I don't have to deal with that, the better. So you may need to take the cover off and vacuum the tower. I'm not using a tower, I'm using a laptop. I have a tower, but the I plugged it in when I moved into this house. I plugged my tower computer in, and the hard drive nearly spun itself right off the needle, and there was smoke. It went zoo. It went like it raced it revved up super high. It went zoo, and there was smoke that came out. And so I think it's a power supply issue. I don't know that. I mean, I turned it off and unplugged it as quick as I could, but I was like, why is there smoke coming from my tower computer? Because I had just had that computer on just before, I turned it. It was one of the last things I moved from my old place, from the apartment, and so it was one of the last things I turned off and moved over, and so I did. And when I plugged it back in, yeah, it was very strange. It was like, I'm like, it was just working 2 days ago, and now this. So I've got my laptop. Normally the fan just goes out. It sounds like restriction. It could be. It could be. But it is definitely irritating to hear that grinding and wailing away in there like a lovesick Wookiee, you know. Also, let's see. Also, if you go to my friend Pat's Fourth Wall merch shop, Fourth Wall if you go to Fourth Wall and look at Patty's Parlor Games, he has a Gnoll-Vember t-shirt, sweatshirt, and sticker design that if you buy anything from his store, and specifically that design, half of the profit will go to the until the end of the month will go to the fundraiser here. So if you're out there and you're watching and Want to get a cool sticker of some Gnolls, the just Gnolly things sticker that he came up with, or t-shirt or hoodie. Now, Pat's a man with some fairly strong opinions about some things, so he may not agree with them, but he means well. So check out his merch store over on Fourth Wall, and half the profit from his purchase, from your purchase this month, will go towards the fundraiser here on Twitch. I think it's time to sleep. Some peanut butter on a tortilla. Oh, slap some peanut butter on a tortilla and eat it with some fake milk. Oh yeah, that actually sounds pretty good. Tortilla on a peanut butter on a tortilla with like condensed milk, because condensed milk is kind of sweet. Or maybe you just like knolling around. Knoll, knoll, knoll in the hay. Oh. You know what? You know something else? Oat milk. Okay. I don't think I've ever tried oat milk. I've tried goat milk. Didn't care for it much. Tasted like sweat socks to me. Goat milk tastes about how they smell. But oat milk, I don't think I've ever tried oat milk. I tried some of the what do they call that? The soy milk. I've tried that. Didn't care for it. I tried coconut water. Didn't care for coconut water when that was all the big rage. Tried it once. I said that's not for me. Did not find it pleasing to my palate. Oat milk seems to me the closest to milk. Soy milk and coconut water are unique. Yeah, yeah. That's putting it politely, Miar. Very politely, they are unique. That's very true. They are uniquely distasteful in a way that nothing else has ever been distasteful to me. But some people really like it. I mean, there's no counting for taste, as my granddad used to say. There's just no counting for taste with some people. So, especially the coconut water. Yeah, I was really not into the coconut water. I mean, I tried it, and now I've had coconut milk. Like where you just take it right out. Where you crack open a coconut and you drain the coconut milk out of the actual nut, out of the actual whatever it is. I don't know if it's a nut. Is it a nut? We'll call it a nut because it's got the all the properties of a nut. Um, but I'm sure there's some scientific thing somebody out there is going, well, actually, a coconut is actually not a nut. It's actually a whatever it is, you know. I don't know. But I liked coconut. When I was a kid, I liked coconut milk. So every now and then we'd buy a coconut, we'd crack it open, and we'd scoop out the innards and we'd drink the milk, and it was really tasty. But nowadays, they have this coconut water, and it did not taste a thing like coconut milk. I don't know what it was. Hey, Monster Den, what's going on? Folks, we have got Monster Den minis in the house. If you're not following Monster Den minis yet, please do so. Terrific guy. Also, Ed, thank you for the stickers. They came the other day. I forgot about them. I really appreciate the color wheel. That is absolutely, I think that's one of your better stickers, my friend. Yeah, so we got Monster Den minis in the house. So Monster Den, of course, this is Gnoll-Vember. Gnoll-Vember. And as we know, Gnoll-Vember is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. So we have got the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline fundraiser still going. And we are up to $116 raised so far, and Miar put us up this evening with a $25 donation. Now there's no I'm not begging you or anything, and there's no obligation to match anything anybody else has done, but if you would like to, the donation button is live. So the goal for the fundraiser is $250, and of course the November is not over yet, so the fundraiser is not over yet. As long as you're not following me in a dark alley. No, I'm not following you in a dark alley. Do you want me to follow you in a dark alley? Because we can arrange that at Adepticon if you come to Adepticon next year. We can arrange you being followed in a dark alley. I hear Milwaukee's the best place to do that. You won't suspect a thing. So, but yeah, we got the fundraiser going until we reach our goal. It's just the last 3 months I've kept it going because we haven't reached the goal, but each month between September to now has been something that was pertinent to the interest. You know, we had Suicide and Awareness Month. We had Mental Health Awareness Month. This is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. And quite honestly, because the holiday season is starting, a lot of people don't find the joy that others find in that particular season. They feel put upon and stressed out and frustrated. Some people deal with feelings of guilt and loneliness. And so the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline can give somebody they have resources that they can tap into and help people find ways to cope with their feelings, whether it's linking them up with a nearby therapist or whatever. Lots of different things. And of course there is a prompt. Even it's not just for civilians. There's prompts for veterans as well. So they take care of everybody, which is kind of why I picked the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline as the charity of choice for this first go around for trying to do a fundraiser, because they kind of take care of everybody. They're not focused solely on one group or another. So I wanted to be able to make sure there was somebody that could take care of everybody. And so I did. That's the first one. Of course, after this fundraiser, I want to do a fundraiser for Sierra's Haven, which is a no-kill shelter. And so there you have it. That's the plan. Is going to be people that are hurting and animals. So we want to try to get our little fur buddies taken care of. And Sierra's Haven is a local no-kill shelter that actually is registered with the Twitch what you call it, the list that Twitch has for fundraisers. So anyway, trying to get that done, trying to get the fundraiser up and finished up, trying to push that, not push it, but encourage that on all my social medias. This is the band of Gnolls here. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Nobody knows but Jesus, the gardener. He knows all the trouble I've seen. So getting this all painted up for Song of Blades and Heroes. And or not necessarily for Song of Blades and Heroes, but usable with Song of Blades and Heroes. So just getting their bodies undercoated here, and then we'll block in the armor and the weapons and the gear and everything. And of course, on Thursday is the Thanksgiving stream that I always do on Thanksgiving, because I've got nowhere else to go and nothing better to do. So I will be shilling the 988 Lifeline on Thursday's stream. Thursday's stream will be all day long, probably 8 hours, I guess. Because I think I will have some things to do in the evening. And I will be getting Bob Evans for lunch. I'll have that door dashed, I think. Because Bob Evans always has a nice meal on the that day. Treat myself to a nice, expensive dinner. One of the local game stores is having a in-store meal feast on Thursday, which is pretty cool. But I am going to be here building tanks. I'm going to be building the Churchill tank from Warlord Games. We will read some pertinent information about the Churchill tank on that day prior to building the kit. So, well, Mihar, no matter wherever you are going to be is, let's see, wherever you go, that's where you'll be, Mihar. That's where you'll be. Wherever you go, that's where you'll be. Oh. Well, I think it's good. It's about time to take a little break. I have been sitting here messing with my computer while watching Build Paint Play this evening, so I could get my computer up and running for tonight's stream. So I've been sitting here for like 3 hours. Tuesday night starts at 7 o'clock with Build Paint Play from 7 to 9. Next week they are going to have I can't remember the gentleman's name, but week after next, John Nenis, better known as Ninjon. Hey, thanks for the bits there, Ed. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Appreciate the 200 bits. You're awesome. So, I'm going to take a little break because I've been sitting here for 3 hours. Remember, your Tuesday evening should start off at 7 o'clock on YouTube with Build Paint Play, hosted by Dave Taylor and Jake Krajewski. And then 9 o'clock sees Paint All the Things with me, JP Got Rockets. And then we go till 11, and then we raid out, and I go to bed. So I'm going to take a little break here because I've been sitting here for 3 hours. Thank you for the well wishes there, Monster Den Minis, and thank you for the bits. I'm going to take a little break here. And yeah. So I'll be right back after these messages. We'll be right back. And we are back. Welcome back to the Pocket Dimension. And let's see, bring up the other chats. All right. Oi, 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 oi. Oi, oi, oi. Oi. Hello, Pumpkin. Are you going to inspect the progress here? What do you think there, Pumpkin? What do you think, buddy? Do they meet with your approval? Really? Really? Really in my lap? You're just gonna sit here? You're gonna say... The stream is being hijacked right now by Chaos and Treachery, an agent of Chaos and Treachery, better known as a cat. This is Professor Pumpkin, chief scientist of Professor Pumpkin's Gravimetric Studies Institute. He was in here a little earlier this evening without my supervision. I had left the door open because I had to step out for just a second, and I came back. I was doing something, and all I heard something go over, and I had this palette sitting up on these paints, and he'd pushed it over against this paint rack where I have these Terminators sitting, waiting to be serviced. So, are you going to let me paint anymore? Huh? Can I paint some more, please? Please, sir, may I paint some more? Cats can be the nicest of all evils. Yes, Myar, I think that puts it succinctly. That is exactly true. Cats are the nicest of all evils. He likes to sit in my hobby chair, too, because I don't know why. I mean, I've read certain things that say why cats like to sit in your chair. They like your scent, evidently. It reminds them of you. And it's like, you don't need to be reminded of me. I'm standing right here, and you're in my chair. All right, can I get back to painting, please? Before you get cat hair all over my paint desk, again and again and again. You sure do purr loudly. Can I? Man, you seem so happy on my lap. I hate to set you down. I hate to evict you from the pocket dimension. I know this is exactly where you want to be, isn't it? It's okay. All right. All right. He's decided he's had enough of that. All right. He actually got down on his own. All right. Yeah, I'll paint this guy right up here too. So, Monster Den Minis, hopefully if you're still hanging out in chat, if you're still there, what have you been working on lately? Because I've been preoccupied on Sunday afternoons. I have not been around. I've been busy getting things ready for the week ahead oftentimes, and I've not been able to spend any time watching people's on Twitch on Sunday afternoons like I used to. How's work? How's life? How's Otis, by the way? Otis. Otis has a new friend, huh, Miar? I did not know that. New puppy in the house, then, I guess, huh? Been thinking about getting another cat. I always think about that, and I know I always talk about it, too. I've been thinking about it for a year. 2 years now, almost. Year and a half. But I just don't know how Pumpkin would handle that. I always see people say, "Oh, I found a cat, and he's real friendly with all my other cats, and my animals, and my other dogs, and blah blah blah." And it's like, okay, you got a friendly cat that's friendly with the animals that you had at your house already, but how do they handle it? You know. Her name is Olive. Otis and Olive. Very cool. So we've got stickers of Otis, stylized Otis. Are we gonna have stickers featuring Olive? That's what I want to know. Do I have to catch them all? Do I have to collect them all? Be the first kid on your block to collect all of the Monster Den Minis dog stickers. Otis and Olive. Otis in a festive wintertime hat. Olive in a festive wintertime hat. Otis in a Green Bay Packers jersey. Olive in a Green Bay Packers jersey. That'd be pretty funny. Let's get his little his little paw. So would a gnoll have a hand or would a gnoll have a paw? Obviously, he has feet, and the feet have a paw. Yes, Pumpkin? What are you doing, my friend? Snooping? Are you snooping? See, unlike other streamers, I don't have a shock collar on my creature, my animal friend. So we got heads, hands, feet, legs, tail out here. Cool. See, I think I'm going to clean this brush off pretty good. So, where is my brush soap? Where's my brush soap? Brush soap. That is not brush soap. That is a little box. That is not the box of brush soap. Huh. I don't know where it got to. Desk has been getting a little cluttered of late, which is why I usually take that break between Thanksgiving and New Year's usually. Good question. Ask Stepstone. It's a difficult answer to give. Do gnolls have hands or paws? Yeah, that is a good question, right? What do you think, Pumpkin? Do they have hands or paws? I mean, you're kind of the expert on paws, right? So do gnolls have hands or paws? Well, you're the one sticking your face up in the camera here. You want to be internet famous, don't you? Oh, beating my head up into the camera there. You know, you just have to be right where I am all the time, don't you? Science tells us that cats don't see humans as humans. They think that they're other cats and that they need to do what you're doing because it must be something that's important. Right? Let's not attack the gnoll there. Right. Okay. All right. I'm gonna have to ask you to leave, Pumpkin. Gonna have to evict you from the pocket dimension here, buddy. I know you hate it. I know you'd rather be in here, and I really do like having you in here, but I can't have you eating the art projects. All right, catch you in 20. 20 minutes to a cat is a lifetime, I think. All right. No, you can't be eating the art projects. Please don't eat the art. Alright, where are we here? Alright, I'm going to set these guys back here. And we're going to keep on working on the archers here. So, I think I'm going to go ahead and dry brush up the texture on their fur. Oh, that's good. That will get right into the wet paint there. Why not, Dad? He says. Well, you know. Because it's just not a good idea. It's just not the cowboy way. That's why not. How's that sound? It's just not the cowboy way. All right. Load up the paint in the dry brush here. And brush, 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 brush. Dry brush. Load up a little bit more. Dry brushing is one of those methods that is often first learned and first abandoned. When people start learning more advanced methods like wet blending and the like, they tend to forget about dry brushing. But dry brushing is just as valid as any more quote unquote advanced painting method. So dry brush your little heart out, especially if you need to get something done and done quickly. There is nothing wrong with using dry brush. And there are lots of ways to utilize it. And there's a difference between you can dry brush badly and you can dry brush goodly. Now I don't like to get my dry brush quite so dry. I like to let it be a little more moisture in there. A lot of people take out really too much paint and it gets too dry and it comes off as being chalky, and that's where you get those streaky bits in your dry brush. It really should be called a damp brush or a moist brush. Some people don't like the word moist. I'm not going to apologize for it. Now, of course, the detail on this figure is a little on the soft side anyway. so it may not pick up a lot of dry brushing really well, but it's close enough and good enough for my purposes. They use the dark things in the dark places and the bright things in the bright places. So that's good. Brings the values way up. That's good. Looks good. Get a little bit more of that Pro Acryl warm gray here. See where we can take this in a half hour here. We got about a half hour left in the stream. So if you're just now watching, feel free to say hello in the chat. If you're watching on YouTube or Rumble, hit the like, share, subscribe, do all the things. Thumbs up is free, folks. Also, if you are watching on Twitch just now, we've got the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline fundraiser going on. If you're watching on one of the other platforms, you can hop over to Twitch and feel free to drop $1 or $2 in to help a good cause, a good organization that helps a lot of people. Yeah, I think the warm gray is pretty nice too, Myar. So these guys would be massively huge if you played them against, say, like an old school 25 millimeter figure. They're pretty large against other 28s as it is, so. But they're monsters, so they can be monstrously big. Monsters can be monsters. And Song of Blades and Heroes really doesn't care too much about basing. Size, style, it just is what it is. Which allows you to play square bases and round bases in on the same table. A little weird. But it's a great game. Song of Blades and Heroes and its companion, its historical version, Song of Drums and Tomahawks. Terrific stuff. Terrific. Really great stuff. So probably get all the skin done on these fellers tonight. I could probably go back over and give a little black wash and get some more definition out on these fellas. But I'm not worried about it until really probably the last thing. Last thing ever. So you can see how it picks up some good definition between the dark gray and the light gray. But it gives a nice little... While there's good definition, it also gives a nice gradient. Because the step is not huge. And I could even probably dry brush up to one more level lighter gray. Add a little white to this. Maybe a little ivory instead. That way it doesn't quite desaturate out so fast. Not really getting quite the step out that I think I would like to have gotten there. So maybe a lighter gray. Bright white gray, bright neutral gray, something, add something like that in there maybe. Brighten it up. Or not worry about it for the time being and just deal with it later on. It's all very haphazard, it seems, and probably to people that are watching that are just getting into miniatures painting. This looks very haphazard, and I'm going over details that I'm going to want to paint another color later on. So why am I going over them? Well, because they're going to be painted another color later on, and because I'm working in thin enough coats that if I have to go over something 2, 3, even 4 times, it's not really going to be terrible. Not a bad experience. So like he's got a some sort of necklace on here, or collar of some sort. Which is fine. But we'll fix that in the detail phase, you know. So just because we're getting paint where we're not going to have it later on, we don't have to stop and fix every little infringement, you know. So we're going to call this guy with the axe, call him Slasher, and this guy with the flail, we'll call him Basher. So Slasher and Basher. And you can divide up these guys. You can give him maybe a guy with an axe and a bow. Maybe this guy an axe and a bow. And maybe this guy gets an axe man and a bowman. Or you can have the bowmen working by themselves together. You can have the axemen working by themselves together. And you can have maybe the 2 lieutenants here as the bodyguard for the leader there. I don't know. Hard to say how we're gonna do that. Of course, Song of Blades and Heroes isn't quite so unit based. You can have units, and you can have leaders that have units, and the leaders have a leadership quality where they can actually hand off a successful activation to their unit, their bunch, where they don't get to do anything, but somebody else can do it, or do it twice. So, Patty's Parlor, packing for tomorrow. So I'm just lurking while making sure we're ready to go. Nice. Patty's Parlor over on YouTube. Good to see you, Pat. How you doing? Hey, if you wanted to, yeah, Soba, so fun to say. Yeah, it is. So if you want to put your link in for the for your store, I'll share it across the other chats there, Pat. And we are up to, so far through donations on Twitch, we are up to $116 out of $250. So we're moving pretty good. But if you go to my friend Pat's store on 4th Wall, that's 4th Wall, Patty's Parlor Games on 4th Wall. Check it out. half of his until the end of the month, which is going to be, what is it, Monday, Sunday or Monday is the end of the month. Half of the profits are, he said he would donate to the fundraiser here on Twitch. So make an honest man out of him. And then, of course, don't forget, on Thursday is Thanksgiving. It's a mouthful, Link. Yeah, it is a big mouthful, Link. On Thursday, dun dun dun, dun for Thanksgiving, we are going to be digging into building the Churchill tank from Bolt Action by Warlord Games. So, and I was looking at the variants. Here is a little sneak peek. I think I will probably use this cannon because the Mark III also used a 70. Let's see, blah 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 blah. I know it's got here. Had a howitzer, had a 2-pounder, and the howitzer, and then a more potent 75mm gun. Boop boop there. The NA-75 and the Mark IV also, I believe, had 75mm guns. So there you go. We'll probably will do it up with the 75mm gun. Although, now I do like the look of the welded turret as opposed to the cast turret, but I'll have to do some research. Of course, we always start out our Thanksgiving Day. Yep, until we fund the goal. Oh yeah, until we fund the goal. Thank you, Pat. Yes. So Fourth Wall, Patty's Parlor Games, and he is generously donating half the profits of his sales, whether T-shirt, sticker, mug, what have you. To the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline fundraiser that I have going on here on Twitch. We are at $116 out of $250, so we're almost halfway there, and hopefully we'll be able to get a little further on with the fundraiser on Thursday, all day Thursday. All right, so where were we now? We're talking about Thanksgiving, talking about Knolls, gray. We're going with gray instead of ochre. So Pat says he is lurking while you're packing. Pat is packing. Probably going to go see Grandma. Or maybe he's just going to camp out in his shed out back. That's a thing. Alright, where are we here? Grab that dry brush. I'm going to dry brush some more here. Dry brush some more. But greetings to your wonderful family there, Patty. Also, Pat, if you hadn't checked, if you hadn't seen the, latest from Miniature Market, they've got a sale on Troll Blood Blue, Troll Blood. Yeah, Troll Blood Blue base. So if you're out of that for your Troll Blood War Machine guys, or sorry, Hordes guys, check out Miniature Market. They're selling off several. They've got a few of the old P3 paints still in stock if you like them at all. And check them out. Just in case. And if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you're not already subscribed, go ahead and share. And here's the secret to sharing. You don't actually have to share it. Just copy the link, and it will register that you copied the link. Don't tell nobody though. Don't tell nobody that I told you that. But that counts as a share, and that feeds Al Gore's rhythm. And definitely hit that thumb, wrestle that thumb if you don't care to, if you're watching over there on Rumble or YouTube. But the value shift between the light warm gray and the dark warm gray is not terribly big. But I think once it dries and cures overnight, I think it'll be a little more noticeable. And I think I might add a little bit of white to it, just to get some highlights up on the higher areas, like shoulders and tops of heads and the like. Of course, if I do a black wash, then I'll go back and hit everything with the light warm gray anyway to bring that back up, because the black wash always knocks things too far down sometimes. Of course, there's markings to paint as well, you know, across the eyes and muzzle, and then the black razor crest of the hyena type hair growth that Gnolls have, at least in this particular iteration. So I think everything's dry brushed. I think the skin tone is done for tonight. So I think it is 10 minutes till 11. So I think it's a good place to press pause. And again, I'm putting this out there. Check the YouTube channel. I think I'm going to put a poll up. And we're going to determine once and for all, do gnolls have feet or do gnolls have paws? So that's P-A-W-S, not P-A-U-S-E. But for tonight, we're going to pause this, P-A-U-S-E, and pick it up again on Thursday, because we're going to build the tank, and we're going to have more to do after the tank is built. So we'll continue to work on these tanky sorts of dudes. They are kind of tanky, aren't they? Big shield, big bashy flail there. So we got Basher, got Slasher and Basher there, and yeah, great. So that is it for tonight's stream. Thank you all for being here. Good to see you all. Miar, Monster Den Minis, Patty's Parlor. Hope the week treats you well. I will be building a panel tomorrow. Today I was playing Trench Crusade. I was 4 feet in the ground, laying pipe and pulling wire. So tomorrow I get to finish that project. Pat, you know what I'm talking about. And it was raining. In a trench in the rain. Remember those days of dig a hole and fill it up? Well, about like that. All right. So I'm going to say what I usually say. And it is, no matter how bad today was, the world is a better place with you in it, and the sun is coming up tomorrow, and the world is a better place with you in it. Keep on painting and keep on playing. Good night to YouTube and good night to Rumble.